Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Welcome to today's sharing of Harmonize2Energize. My name is Terry Matthews, and it's been my joy to share different practices from the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, different self-help practices, each Friday at 2 o'clock New York time. Unless you get emails like you might have got on Wednesday, which said 11 o'clock. My apologies. Anyway, welcome everybody. I hope you've been having a good week, and a particularly warm welcome to anyone who's absolutely brand spanking new. You can wave if you wish. Just briefly, JIN SHIN JYUTSU is an art of harmonizing life energy, sometimes known as chi or ki or prana, depending on what culture you come from, as it moves through the body, congruently or not. The point of JIN SHIN JYUTSU is we have a way of ensuring that we can begin to harmonize any incongruences. If you didn't follow all that blah, blah, don't worry about it. Basically, it's allowing us to be more healthy, harmonized, and balanced. And how we do that in JIN SHIN JYUTSU is we place the palms of our hands, fingers, back of our hands, on what we call safety energy locks. And these safety energy locks, 26 of them, left and right of the spine, 3 in the arms. And they are the width or the diameter of your personal palm, okay? And they act like resistors in an electrical circuit. They will allow just the correct amount of energy or not to go through what we call energy pathways. And these energy pathways tap into the various levels and dimensions of the energy body and the more manifested body, which are the, yeah, can you mute yourself? Thank you. The organs, the physical organs, like today, what we're going to be discussing, the spleen, for instance. So anyway, this is a Friday, which I normally call a mystery presenter, but you know, it's hard to always hide all the different presenters that are coming on, and it's a particular pleasure to have with me today Maria Jesus Arias, or Chus, as she's more frequently known as, from Spain, from Madrid. I've known Chus for a fair amount of time, and each time I invited her to come on to Harmonize2Energize, I wasn't available, so she was on with LA. So anyway, this is the great opportunity for me to share with Chus. I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to hand you over to Chus. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. And Chus, in my experience, will jump in and out with questions. She'll play it as she feels it. And if you want to wave, you can put your hand up as well. But without further ado, I welcome Chus Arias from Spain, and I am going to disappear. There you are. Welcome, Chus.
Thank you very much, Terry. It's a pleasure to be here with you on a Friday. And I've seen some of the names, and they're familiar to me. Some other names maybe not. Excuse me if you have met me in one of my classes and I didn't recognize you. I welcome you anyway to this, I think, a friendly talk where we can discuss maybe together some other aspects of the spleen function energy. When Terry asked me what did I want to talk about, I said to him, well, I just did study group in Spain, spleen function energy. We're also doing the 12 organ function energy. And I noticed, because this is a practitioners group, this is from students of the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, some of them many years of study of this art. And we are not aware that when we say spleen function energy, we're really talking about two energy, is spleen and pancreas function energy. But what happened is that in Chinese medicine, spleen and pancreas, the two organs together, are called spleen meridian or spleen function energy for us in JIN SHIN JYUTSU. So although in classes we do explain that when we're talking about a spleen, we're also talking about pancreas, this somehow comes out of many of the students' minds, and they're not aware of the meaning of this energy. Both functions, spleen and pancreas, are absolutely essential for our daily lives. So I also thought that we could go a little bit further, because when we talk about in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, we know that we have this energy, and he just explained that it's an art of harmonizing life's energy within the body. And we harmonize this life energy with our hands. We have safety energy locks, and also we have what we call the 12 organ function energy or body function energy. And this is also harmonized through holding safety energy locks, because everything in JIN SHIN JYUTSU comes from the one source. It's this oneness that starts individualizing in each one of us expression, and is going to continue individualizing different types of energy expressions. And one of those we call body function energy. Someone has a microphone open, so if you take it and you could close it, thank you. So when we talk about this energy, the body function energy, is the energy that builds the physical body. Is the energy that keeps, this circulation of energy is going to keep building and repairing, and it's going to help all the functions of all these organs. But it's not only the organ, because we as human beings, we are physical, emotional, mental, spiritual aspects in health and in illness. So we cannot only look at the body and the projects that we get on the physical aspect of our being. There's always going to be a message, and the message will be different according to the messenger. So today we are focusing on the spleen function energy. So we're going to look at the messages that we get through the spleen function. And for that, we may be looking a little bit at those different aspects of energy. And when I teach in classes, I always say spleen with a capital S, because to differentiate that is not just the physical spleen pancreas, not just that gland, the two glands. No, it's everything, the message that is transported through this energy at an emotional, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level. I've got something I want to share with you, and this is from a book in Chinese medicine. It's a very important book. It's the Yellow Emperor book. And it says that maintaining order rather than correcting disorder is the ultimate principle of wisdom. And that is exactly what we do when we give ourselves self-help, JIN SHIN JYUTSU. We're going to tune up. We're going to maintain order. Because when we correct a disorder, then it's too late. So if we keep maintaining this energy circulation in harmony, then we, as Mary says in the books, in several books, and Mary in the teachings says, then we will enjoy a lifelong of harmony and longevity and happiness. So the spleen function energy is one of the flows that she gives us in the self-help books. There must be a very good reason for that. And she advises to practice this flow daily, to keep our energy, revitalizing of energy. In the self-help books, she does not call this flow the spleen function energy flow, because she's not talking about body function energy in the self-help books. So she says to revitalize, because that's the key word for this energy, revitalizing function. The spleen in Chinese medicine belongs to what we call the earth element, and also for us in JIN SHIN JYUTSU. And probably you have discussed this before in the previous the time that you started with the spleen function energy. So now I'm not going to go through all those things, But it's important to know that from the point of view of Chinese medicine, the spleen is the most important organ. Why? Because it's going to be in charge of converting the energy that we get from the food that we eat into energy. And that links with our teachings when we go to basic seminars, JIN SHIN JYUTSU, when we go deepening into this, the learning this art, because we're going to see the same function when we look at the liquefied, grain, and compressed oxygen energy. It sounds like a big thing, but what is that? It's simply that we need to get energy from the food we eat and from the air we breathe. We have to convert that into energy because we're talking about energy all the time. Energy harmonizes. So how do we do that? The spleen function is in charge of converting, it's one of the body function energy in charge of converting that energy we get from the food. So it's absolutely essential because that's like our fuel for our life. It's like the petrol that we need, to keep going. And also in traditional Chinese medicine and also in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, this energy, earth energy, means the center. So it's the center for everything else. No, the spleen protects the body. It's going to has two functions, very important functions. And one of them is to produce the antibodies. It's related to that, the white blood cells that we know are in charge of all our protective system, all that immune system. But it also has another function, and it's the function of producing red blood cells during the time that we are in the uterus. And then when we are born, what is in charge is of getting those all red blood cells, getting rid of them. It's like a cleaning mechanism, getting rid of all red blood cells and all platelets, and also takes the iron that we have from those cells to reuse it again in our body. So that's a very important function as well. When we look at the message that the body organ function energies are giving us, energy, singular, are giving us, it's very easy because the physical functions, we can also transform it into mental, emotional functions. Like when we say one of the aspects of the spleen is to help us get rid of all things, to move in life, to live in the now and live in the present. So sometimes when we have a difficulty with letting go and getting rid of things, that is going to express that our spleen function energy may need to be harmonized. That's the most important function of the spleen. But we say that we also have the pancreas here. We can't forget about the pancreas because the pancreas is an organ that we have that is very important for digestion. On the one side, it's going to create all these enzymes that we need to digest the carbohydrates. And it's also having a second function that is also very important, which is hormonal. It's going to produce insulin. Insulin, we heard about insulin, we heard about glucagon, are the two hormones that keep the glucose metabolism in our bodies. So when the pancreas energy is affected, we're going to have a difficulty dealing with the glucose in our system. And so when we harmonize ourselves, giving ourselves the spleen function energy daily, as Mary is telling us in the self-help book, we are going to help both. We're going to help digestion and we're going to help the glucose metabolism in our bodies. It's like we're going to keep the energy that we need for our daily activity. We're going to keep it up. What is, from the point of view of the Chinese medicine, what affects the spleen? Well, the spleen in Chinese medicine is an indicator of our physical energy. That's why when we are very tired, when we are practitioners and we feel the person on the table is very heavy, it's heavy as lead. You can hardly put the hands under the body. There is no circulation of energy, and that causes that heaviness and that tiredness. That's an indication for spleen function energy. We know that first depth, the spleen function is first depth in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, is related to lead. So that we sometimes say, this is heavy as lead. So heaviness, we feel you have no energy. We are too tired, sometimes even too tired to fall asleep. We could use the spleen function energy if we are too tired to fall asleep. Because in Chinese medicine, the spleen energy is affected by three important things. One, diet. Diet, the way I nurture myself. I need to find out what is my individualized need when we talk about food. So there's not one diet for everybody, you know? So I need to find out, my diet is nurturing me. I have to listen to my body. Second thing that imbalances the spleen function energy is the imbalance between work and rest. Maybe many of us are there, because sometimes we think, oh, I love my work, so I'm very busy, you know, because I love what I do. It doesn't matter that you love what you do. It's good that you love what you do. But that imbalance between work and rest is going to affect this spleen function energy. And also, I was looking at Terry's emails and some comments maybe from some of you that you give yourself the spleen function energy and you don't notice the results, you know. We talk about that. Expectation. Expectation is no good. Because first of all, it takes you out of the present. We only have the present. And when we have an expectation about something, we are moving into the future. The future is not here. So I harmonize myself in this now. I harmonize myself in this now. And in this now, I am available to receive changes, to receive healing, because healing is a gift. It's going to come to me, and I'm going to receive it. But it's not something that I'm going to do this flow every day, and this is going to be this, I'm going to get this result, okay? I harmonize myself with JIN SHIN JYUTSU for many reasons. First, because I love it. Second, because it's easy. Sometimes it works very fast. Sometimes I have a project and I know maybe I'm not seeing, I place myself in the place that I'm talking about, expectation. I may not be seeing the results. I continue harmonizing myself because I know that maybe something else that needs to be harmonized before that is taking place. And the third thing that affects the spleen function is emotional overexcitement. Because, look, spleen function energy in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, we relate it to the astrological sign of Cancer. And Cancer has a gift to give us. The gift of Cancer is I feel in harmony. So if this energy is not in harmony, I'm going to be oversensitive, hypersensitive. And it is my container. My relationship with outside is Cancer as well. It's the sign for the family, for the collective energy. So how do I relate to what is outside me? Is my boundaries, first depth boundaries, too strong? And my boundaries too weak, too sensitive. So this energy will be harmonized by spleen function energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and it's a water sign. So all that emotions affect very much this energy. So, and we, not only people who are astrologically the sign of Cancer, obviously, we all have a spleen in our body. So we all have this energy represented. So we all have the gift. We all have to go on the journey from the I am, expressing the lung function energy, to the I believe of the Pisces, of the liver function energy. From Arias to Pisces, we are going to have to process all that transformation that takes place through all the 12 astrological signs. So when we talk about experience, recovering the elements from experience is like the same thing that does the spleen. I just told you about that. So how do we process what happened in our lives? It's got a lot to do with this energy, with the spleen function energy, you know? When we have a tendency to live in the past with nostalgia, with, you know, thinking, oh, that was a better time, you know, all the time remembering things that happened many years back, and it's like they happened last week, you know? Obviously, this energy, the same with the stomach function, for all these mental attitudes of anxiety and obsessions and fixed ideas. So when this energy is weak, we can have a tendency to routine, to do the same things over and over, you know? Being energetically lazy, you know, we say this person is lazy. No, he's not lazy. He hasn't got energy. Doesn't have energy, the energy to move or to get into action. Okay, what else can I tell you? The language of the spleen is also, when we worry, we know that worry is the attitude that disharmonizes first steps, both the spleen function energy and the stomach function energy. So when we have a tendency to worry, we're going to be affecting this energy. And not only to worry about ourselves, sometimes to worry about other people, you know? Because I hear that often in my practice. No, I don't worry about myself. I worry about 100 things outside me, you know? Also, the need for security. This energy represents our the emotional needs, the need for security, the energy that we give oneself to life, you know? Bien, what else I can tell you? I have a little notes here that I don't forget these things. If you have any questions, you can ask them, okay? Also, because we together with this energy of the pancreas has got a lot to do with glucose, and glucose is sugar. It's how we manage the sweetness in life. And I many times see people with pancreas projects being, for instance, diabetes, or, you know, or even other projects affecting immune projects, affecting the pancreas. And I'm surprised by a couple of things. One, that they want to go back to work. They don't want to stop working. Doesn't matter we're going through chemo or radiotherapy. No, I don't want things to change. I want to continue working, because then I will feel I'm okay. I'm secure, you know? So all that has to do with the material security, with feeling safe in life. It's very related to the pancreas, but also with the ability to enjoy life, you know? And that's very much sugar, the sweetness of life, not just the sweetness of the food we eat. So when we look at the language of the organ function energy, we just need to think, what is this organ doing in our body? And everybody knows, I mean, the stomach is digesting food, digesting emotions, digesting mental, everything that gets in contact with us needs to be digested by the stomach, and goes into the small intestine, and the small intestine says, okay, this I keep, this I am going to assimilate, this I'm going to store for when I need it, and this I'm going to let it go, to eliminate it. So the energy of the small intestine is the same we do in life with everything that happens in our lives, emotional and mental. We need to process it, we need to digest it very well, then we need to assimilate it, we need to store that experience, what we have learned from it, and let go of what is not useful for us, okay? All right. Yes, I was going to go to that now. Yes, the spleen function. So we talk about this language of the spleen, and also when we talk about the two functions, we talk about immune system. And immune system, all those, that's why I said to Terry, the spleen function energy is so important nowadays, because for many reasons, but one of them, we have fatigue. I think it's an epidemic of fatigue, not just chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm talking about fatigue. People, we are tired. We are tired and we don't even know we are tired, because we keep going. It's like if we had a little battery, we put the battery in the morning. The battery is not really a very good battery because we often just make an effort, to keep going. But we keep going. We're not even aware that we are tired. And Mary said, fatigue. We don't need to know fatigue. Energy can never tire. And she gives us that beautiful, I'm sure that if you are students of the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, you must have seen it sometime, that explanation of what is fatigue, what makes us tired, And we know that fatigue is the result of the 5 attitudes, disharmonizing the energy of the mediator, not being able to keep this system in harmony as oneness, which is harmony. So fatigue disharmonizes, but sometimes we do get labels like chronic fatigue syndrome or Epstein-Barr syndrome, and all these projects that are appearing nowadays that get labeled as autoimmune projects. Spleen function energy will be essential for any of these projects that affect the immune system. All those that we call critical labels. What are critical labels? Labels that can threaten life, and not only threaten our lives, but also when we hear them, we enter into a shock. Fear takes over in our system, and those are all the cancer labels and these immune system labels, and obviously. When we talk about the spleen function energy, we talk about brain projects, central nervous system projects that we are also seeing nowadays, like lateral sclerosis and, dementias. All those projects of the central nervous system can be helped by the spleen function energy. Spleen function is like our solar system, and also going to harmonize our relationship to the sun and our relationship to the heat, for instance. It's like we can use it to harmonize now, if it's hot in summer, to harmonize. It's like a thermostat that we can use to keep our body temperature regulated, and also together with the umbilicus function energy, both of them can do that. And also, it will help us when the weather is damp, because the spleen function energy is affected by dampness. So if we live in an environment that is very damp, which is really not very nice for our systems, we can harmonize that situation doing spleen function energy every day. I give myself spleen function energy every day. I'm my own testimony, like many ask us to be in the self-help books, because this is one of the flows that I just love to do on myself. Sometimes I do both sides, and sometimes I only do one side. As you know, we don't need to do both sides, but we can if we feel like it. And I have the experience of coming out of difficult situations with spleen function energy, noticing how that energy gets moving again, how your system does this. One of the expressions of the spleen function energy needing help is yawning. If you find yourself yawning a lot, it means that you need this energy, this spleen function energy. It's a wonderful energy to accompany anything related to birth and pregnancy, right through the pregnancy. I teach it a lot, the spleen function. And Mary in the self-help books gives us 3 options for the first step, which is wonderful. I think this is great, because we know that the first step, we're going to put one hand in the coccyx and the other hand in the 5. The 5 is in the inner aspect of the ankle. That's one option. Another option is, for the first step, is to put the one hand in the 1, which is in the knee, and the third in a part of the knee. And the third option is to put the hand on the pubic bone. And that's my favorite to teach to people, because then they can do it lying down. And sometimes it's not easy to reach the 5, or sometimes you want to lie down because you have no energy. That's why you need the spleen function, So then you can be lying down. First step will be one hand in the coccyx and the other one the pew. And then second step, the 14, the 13, and the 22. So it's a very nice and very easy flow to do. Well, even if you are very tired, as I said, you're lying down. It doesn't matter. You have no energy. It doesn't matter. That's the magic thing about JIN SHIN JYUTSU. You don't have to have energy to give yourself JIN SHIN JYUTSU. You don't have to be standing. You don't have to be sitting. You can be lying down. You don't have energy to do the entire flow. Then you hold the first step and stay there. Or you hold your thumb. That's also possible, So this you can tailor-make your practice of JIN SHIN JYUTSU according to the energy that you have. And for me, that's well, fantastic, That's one of the things that made me, decide that this beautiful art is what I wanted to do in my life and with the clients that I see in my practice. And so I'll talk about spleen function energy for a long time, but I don't know what you already have been through. Terry, I'm not sure if you talk about more in depth about the aspects that we can use this energy for, or
no,
I don't know.
I gave an overview. You have given a great deal of detail, which I did not cover. There's a few things that have come up for me to chat to you about, but no, you have given way more detail. So if there's any questions that anyone has for Chus, is this a good time?
It's a good time. Please ask them, take this opportunity, because, we learn together,
Yeah, Janice. Okay, Janice, unmute yourself.
Hi there. Thank you so much. I have, various spleen labels, and one of the things that's challenging for me is this is really good for me, and it's also painful when I do it.
Where is the pain? You mean when you hold the first step? Do you do it like I have explained just now, or you go and reach the 5, for instance?
Well, actually, it's just the energy. I think it's because I have so much in the project here that there's a lot of congested energy, and just, helping the energy to move is just sort of physically painful in this esoteric way, but it's a physical pain. And so,
This is a great question. This is a great question, because as you were talking, I was imagining something. Sometimes when I teach nowadays, I explain to students and also to my clients that we all have like a whiteboard where we write these ideas that we have about things, And those ideas, I think in a way, limit our lives, because you are explaining what you feel. You feel pain because you think that you have labels and this energy when it's moving, but maybe it's not that. So we don't know, but sometimes we say, this is difficult, or this I can't do it, or this is causing me. So my advice is wipe your whiteboards clean. Don't have any thoughts on them. Or maybe if you have one, it's just to look at it, observe it, and then wipe it off. Okay? Because when you have nothing there, then you will be in the now, in the absolutely now. And you have no expectation of this is painful. It's been painful. This is the back brain, saying this is so. When you do the spleen function energy, because the energy, you have all these spleen labels, and then the energy is moving, and in the process of moving, forget it. Wipe it out. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Actually, it's the other way around. It's the other way around for me, which is that I think, oh, great, I'm going to do the spleen function energy. And then I do it, and then it's painful. So I say these other things to explain it to myself, but just my experience in the now is this is really hard to do because
don't do it. Don't do it. Claro, yeah, it's no problem. You don't do it. JIN SHIN JYUTSU, first of all, I mean, is effortless reality. Although sometimes JIN SHIN JYUTSU practitioners, it happened to me, sometimes I live in the effort lots reality, but I'm very clear about the message is effortless reality. And then means if I'm not happy holding this thumb, I don't hold it. I need to check where is the finger where I am perfectly comfortable. The self-help that I share in my practice is the simplest possible self-help you can ever dream of, really. I often say to someone, just hold your little finger. So they say to me, I say to them, do you have any time? No, I don't have any time. No. Do you drive a car? Yes. Well, when you stop at the lights, just hold the little finger. This is the self-help I give for a huge project. Yeah, hold the little finger. Yes. Nobody says to me, oh, but my project is very big. How can I just hold the little finger? You know why? Because I know I could talk about the little finger for a couple of days. So when I share this self-help, I'm sharing it from this awareness. You understand? So the person never says to me, oh, but this is really too easy for my project. Give me something else. No. So I often share in my practice the mudras. My advice will be change completely. Go to something else, mudras. If you have the self-help books, I don't know if you're a practitioner or you're someone who's done self-help or you're just someone who wants to get into JIN SHIN JYUTSU. In the self-help books, Mary shares the mudras. The mudras. For me, this is the self-help for this time we are living now. For this time in our lives, July 2023. I'm saying for this time as human beings is mudras. But for what I just said, we are exhausted, we are fatigued, and we're full of fear, and that affects our immune system because affects our sympathetic and parasympathetic balance. You know, fear is going to get us into this mode of fight or flight or get frozen, but in any case, it's going to exhaust our adrenals, to produce adrenaline, to fight life, to work hard, I mean, it's terrible. We're not receiving life, we're just fighting it all the time. So we are exhausted. So mudras is about fatigue. Mary gave us the mudras as harmonizers of fatigue, number one. Number two, they harmonize this mediator because of all the projects that we have, affected by the attitude. So when we do the mudras, we also go inwards, because when we hold our fingers, that's okay, it's fantastic. But when we do the mudras, it takes us into an inner space. Doesn't matter if we're doing it just focusing on the mudras or we are holding the mudras, I don't know, while we are doing something else, watching a movie. Holding the mudras is going to make you go in. It's going to help you go inwards and find out about yourself. And this is also the birth of joy. So my advice, if you have many, as you say, many labels, spleen related, which we just say is very important that we have this energy happy, go for the mudras and see how that changes. Also, when we talk about hypersensitivity, we're talking about the spleen function energy, but the spleen function energy can also be harmonized through holding the thumb. That helps first depth, attitude, and it's going to indirectly help the spleen function energy.
Thank you so much. That's
You're
very
welcome.
helpful.
Thank you for your question. Okay, what else? What do you recommend for swollen thumbs? Interesting question. Okay, when we look at why the thumbs are swollen, why? Just the thumbs are swollen? Nothing else? No other fingers are swollen? Open your microphone and tell me, just the thumbs that are swollen?
The muscles around the thumb too.
The muscles around the thumb, so meaning all this area?
Yes.
Yeah. When I look at something physical. I look at the body function energy. And when we look at body function energy, the lung function energy is very much related to the thumb. Lung function energy, and now you say, oh, because you are a practitioner, no? Lung function energy goes to these two fingers, becomes the large intestine on the index one. So for me, the thumb talks lung function energy. So you could take care of lung function energy. You could do yourself the first step of lung function energy or the entire flow, the 22 and 14, or be aware of that, and simply hold the thumb with awareness that the lung function energy is talking to you.
Yes. So it's not the stomach, it's the lung.
No, the stomach. Okay, this is something. Are you a practitioner? Have you been to a class, a basic seminar?
Yes.
Yes.
I have.
This is I love this confusion, because this is what I love about JIN SHIN JYUTSU. Everything is relationships. When you hold the thumb, you are helping the attitude of worry. The attitude of worry, this harmonizes first depth. And that is related, first depth is related to the stomach function energy and the spleen function energy. So when I hold the thumb and I help worry, I'm helping my stomach because of that relationship. But this thumb is also on the body function energy level. It's a different vibration there. Is talking about the lung function for what I say. The lung function the liver function energy becomes the lung function energy in the stomach, and then it's going to continue circulating and is going to end in these two fingers. So when there are changes in conformation, I think of this energy. Do you understand the difference of what I just explained?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, my lungs became weak after COVID, so that would make sense.
Okay, so very, very important that you strengthen your lungs, but also that you look at this from this point of view. Your lungs were the effect, okay? And sometimes the cause is not there. And that's why we have things like the lumbar function energy. And I know you've been looking at the spleen and the lumbar function, the energy relationships. So when we look at the lung, we need to also look at fourth depth, need to look at kidney. So, and fourth depth, that's why I say not only kidney, we don't focus only on the body function energy, we focus on the depth as well. So with something that helps both second depth and fourth depth. One example of that will be the second method of correction. That will help both.
Oh, okay, great.
And it will help your breathing. And you can do the whole front, you can do it on self-help. The first part of the flow, you can do it self-help.
Right, great. Thank you so much.
That's one of the examples that could help both, you know? Because you need to get that relationship.
Yes, yes. That was very helpful to connect that. Thank you.
Okay.
Got any more questions, anybody? Oh, yeah, Shilpa. Shilpa, do you want to unmute yourself? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate the insights that you bring to this topic, Chus. And I especially liked how you related the spleen energy to the ability to enjoy life, in how your relationship to the sweetness in life. And that was very meaningful to me. And it gives me a clue on what I can do. So thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Just realize that we have 12 body function energy, and Mary chooses 3 flows to give us for self-help. She chooses the spleen and the stomach function, both first depth, and then the bladder function energy, fourth depth. So it's these 3, I mean, the spleen, as I say in Chinese medicine, is the most important organ. And all the other meridians, the kidney and they wish the spleen energy. So there's really is a very important energy. And it's very important from the point of view of sustaining life, you know. and converting the food into energy. That's amazing, because it's the director of digestion, and through that relationship to the pancreas, we are not aware that many times we are going to have projects because of the spleen pancreas not functioning, digestive projects not functioning well, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Chus, could you look at the idea of the sweetness of life from the perspective of, for quite a long time, and probably still a lot, people are addicted to sweetness. So you could look at the spleen function energy as being out of harmony there, because we want more sweetness. We're not necessarily looking for the balance of all the other attitudes. It's just, we got to feel good. Sweetness is a preference, yeah?
Absolutely. And also it may take us into projects of overeating, and that will cause diabetes at the end, you know, metabolic projects. And that is also there's another reason for this, the sugar is, we are exhausted, and sugar gives I'm talking about the bad sugar, if you want to say it that way, you know, the white sugar and
refined.
Things low refined sugar, thank you. What happened is that we are tired. So that, and as I say, we are running all the time, those adrenal exhaustion and our sympathetic nervous system fighting, running away, and the parasympathetic not helping us to relax because we are on that mode, constantly on that mode. So what happened? We need something to stimulate. And that stimulation is like up, but then all of a sudden that causes insulin quickly to bring down the sugar, and then it's the down, you know? And those are the peaks of high blood sugar, low, high, low. And that's terrible for our pancreas, and it's terrible for our system, you know? And sometimes this energy can be harmonized through spleen function energy, giving attention to this, the fact that that means that we are tired, you know, we are really exhausted, and it's not the right way to get the energy that we need, you know, in the sense that it's going to cause trouble, you know, for our pancreas long term, you know, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else got any questions? Please to raise your hand, or can't see any more in the chat. I know personally I've been just like bowled over with the wisdom, so
I can talk like a parrot.
No, I mean, in the space of 30, 40 minutes, you've really just expanded my awareness of spleen function energy. The message, I mean, if you want to pedal back there to the message, you were talking at various levels about the message of spleen function energy, I gather. I always look at all the different messages that all the elements have, but overall, would you say that the message is really what Mary was saying, was the oneness, yes, which creates the harmony? That's the message, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, and the choice of words she puts in the self-help books, revitalizing, you know, revitalizing. It's an amazing word. It's not just giving me energy, it's vital, very important. And someone asked something, how do I help craving sugar? Mary, when she gives the mudras, in the self-help book 3, she's talking about craving sugar, for sweets, and it's this mudra. So if you want to use this mudra for craving sweets.
Yeah.
That's one way. Another way could be holding your 23s. The 23, safety Europe 23 will help with the blood composition, and it will help with those sugar cravings. And it helps the suprarenal glands, the adrenals, so it will help calm down, you know, and harmonize the tiredness. Yeah, that could be something For if your spleen function energy is not nice to do, the 23 could be something you could do. And the 23, the finger to harmonize safety in Europe 23 is the little finger, which also helps indirectly, is going to help first depth.
Beautiful.
Because supports fifth depth, and this is fifth depth, supports first depth.
First depth, yeah.
So when you hold in this, you can help the craving of the sugar, and you can help the fifth depth, first depth relationship. Yeah, because these are now, I'm like, if I was in a class, relationships is my thing in this, I love it. At another level, this little finger also relates to the big toe, and the big toe is stomach and spleen function energy, liver and gallbladder as well. So when I'm holding my little finger, I'm helping the craving of the sweets as well. I'm helping this energy low and spleen function energy projects that you were talking about. Look at how simple, holding the little finger.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's comfortable. If not, you look for something else. Let your hands go to the place where you feel comfortable, effortless.
Yeah, you were suggesting to folks, or all of us, that these days, in the present, the mudras are very important. And I mean, my understanding is from JIN SHIN JYUTSU that they clean out the lymph, right? The debris.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But not only that, you must, Mary gives the mudras in the self-help books, self-help book 3, and in the textbooks, she gives the mudras as well. And self-help, she says, self-help in the page where she gives the mudras. And harmonizes of fatigue. And as I say, why do I think they're important? Because I really, I see in my practice. Fatigue is the common project. Then it has different, it's like fatigue is there, and then it shows up as whatever, chronic fatigue syndrome or diabetes, but it's and that fatigue is inability to clean up. And that's the link with what you just said. Yes, the mudras are the harmonizers of the lymphatic system. The cleaning, not only the cleaning of toxins, physical, emotional, mental toxins, because toxins are toxins, it's a vibration. And it's not, the problem is not what is out there, it's not that. At the end of the day, it's not the refined sugar, it's my inability to clean up, to cope with that workload of sugar or emotions or fear. Fear is defined nowadays as a toxin as well,
Yeah, yeah.
Fear is defined as a toxin. When we talk in the medical world, when we talk about psychoneuroimmunology, how that the immune system and the endocrine system and the nervous system are working together and why they get disharmonized together, and fear is behind all that. And it's the same thing that we say in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, because we say fear is the only attitude. There's only one attitude, and it's fear. The other 5 are aspects of fear.
Sure. Beth Lendrum, do you want to unmute yourself?
Sure. Whoops, hold on.
Hello,
Hi,
Beth.
Chus.
Hi.
This has been wonderful.
Thank you. It's nice to see you online.
Oh, it's so nice to see you too. I was wondering, for the gal who was experiencing, and I don't remember her name, pain when she was utilizing the actual spleen flow. Is that a case maybe where you'd bring in the lumbar circle and have her work
why
with,
not?
work.
Absolutely.
So if fourth depth, do I have that right? Is fourth depth the cause?
Depends. No, it could be, okay, on the lumbar circle, if you place the spleen first depth, okay?
Yeah.
You are going to be looking at second depth. Burdening could be the burdener, second depth.
Mm-hmm.
Or if that is this way, the burdener from there, that would be second depth. And also, It could be that going anti-clockwise, which one is the direct burdener?
Right.
Third depth. And there is third depth will be third depth and liver. And there's a clear relationship between liver and spleen pancreas energy when there are projects in the spleen energy. But even without complicating our lives, if something is unpleasant, we don't do it.
Right.
And we do something else. We have so many things in JIN SHIN JYUTSU.
So many other choices, so many options.
I definitely, what you say is, I encourage students and practitioners to listen to the pulses and see who is talking to me, and look inwards and say, this is the messenger, but this is the message coming from where? Where is this message coming from? Because often, like the lung, when you say I'm a weak lung after having been sick, you know, fifth depth would be burdening second directly, you know, anti-clockwise. And often is that.
Okay. Thank you.
So, but you need to see what is happening in my life. Have I been overdoing it? Have I been burdened by what? Burdened by what? Burdening, what is burdening me? You know, we need to look at the message beyond the physical body.
Thank you. So true.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. So nice.
Could you mute yourself unless you got a question?
That's because she was.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Could you mute
Hola,
yourself
hola.
unless you got a question? All right. I think we dealt with it.
There was a question that is not related to spleen, but it's a question, and we can leave it there, about the vestibular system, meaning something related to someone with a project of dizziness or on that line. Well, Safety Energy Log 6 helps that. Bladder function energy from the self-help books, from many self-help books, can also help with that. And easier than all that, main central vertical.
Oh, okay. Great.
Absolutely. Because the first thing is to harmonize the energy that is going to feed everything. That's why Mary in the self-help books, she gives us main central vertical, supervisor and mediator. And then she goes into spleen function energy and stomach and bladder. And then the safety energy log takes two, you know, but main central vertical, the source of life, is just one energy circulation that becomes different aspects, different vibrations, levels of vibration.
Okay, thank you. Muchas gracias.
De nada. Where are you from? United States? Spanish speaking?
Peru.
Peru. Oh, muy bien.
Gracias.
I'm going to teach self-help. Oh, self-help. I'm going to teach an online basic seminar in Spanish next year.
Oh,
if you look in the if you look in the website, you will see it. It will be advertised at the end of this year.
And where is it going to be?
Online.
Online. Excellent. Okay.
Online for those who don't have really the opportunity of, and also from American students, Spanish-speaking Americans, who have asked also for an online seminar in Spanish.
See. So where do we find it? In what website?
You will find it in the Spirit Mind Body website.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you got anything coming up in the very near future? I know you and I are going to do this 2 hours.
We are going to be doing a 2-hour webinar in October on pain.
November, isn't it?
Managing pain. November, yeah.
Yeah, November the 4th. Yeah.
Managing pain with JIN SHIN JYUTSU, yes.
And what website is that? Is it the same website?
I think it'll be on the JSJ SMB website. Do you still advertise on the Inc. website as well? No? No. Okay, so it'll be on the JSJ SMB website, and that'll be November the 4th. Well, I don't know about you, everybody, but
thank you.
I've been very nourished by this. I mean, my spleen and stomach have been filled, and now we're trying to transform it all to meaningful energy, which is what the spleen partly does, right? So thank you, Chus.
Thank you, Terry, for this invitation. And thank you all. And there's Gabriela. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to share with students. And I'm a student.
Hola,
when I introduce
Chus.
myself, I am a student. I say always, I'm a